Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. We seem to be at one of the worst spots to, I guess, be doing an intro, but here we are. I probably should have just done it from the main menu again. But do not worry, I don't have another 10-minute rambling intro to do this time. Just a little bit of a recap. We are on our way to the island, whatever it's called. I think it's called Rokkenjima or something along those lines. And yeah, a lot of traveling methods used. First, an airplane that only seats so many people. It's not a giant plane, it was a small one. And then we went onto a boat, which could apparently go very, very fast if the captain really wanted it to, which he seemingly did, but Battler most definitely did not want that going on. So it took a little longer in order to get here, but I think we are now approaching. And just to let you guys know, I have fiddled with the sound settings yet again because, yeah, I kind of wanted the music to be just a little louder, but it's weird. If I go one tick up with the music, which I now have, the music is significantly louder. But if I go one tick up with everything else, such as sound effects and the voice volume, it doesn't. And I have no idea why. It wasn't like this back on the English language that I had selected in the first episode. But when I changed it over to Witch Hunt for the previous, and now going forward, because personally I didn't have an issue with it in the previous episode, yeah, the sounds are just really off. So I think for the next episode, I will adjust the engine, which has been suggested to me based on my my weird frame issues, and we'll see how things go there. Push comes to shove, I just have to go back in and just work on the old sound mixing. But that is not important. I will probably just be lowering the volume of everything while I'm editing anyways, just to be on the safe side. But yes, some volumes have been adjusted. Sorry if they suck. But the boat gave a big shudder. Seems that we've docked at the harbor. Yeah, so here we are. We have made it to the island finally. It took us a couple episodes, but here we are. The boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with the mooring rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. I didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guessed he was a servant of the Ushiromiya head household, Ushiromiya. I will get that down eventually. Okay, yep, voice volumes are definitely up, and so is the music. Honestly, the music volume isn't all that bad. I think I moved everything up somewhat okay. Voice volumes are most definitely maxed, though. I will definitely say that. So this is Toshiro. Oh, come on, give us a fucking break. Oh, speaking of, like, volumes, I'm so happy. I finally took the time to, like, readjust my microphone because the arm was, like, covering, like, a good corner of the lower left screen, so sometimes, like, if the lines did get low enough or if I was recording something that utilized the lower left part of the screen, I'd have to, like, sometimes peek over a little bit because I just couldn't see. So I'm happy I finally adjusted that. That's not gonna change anything. At this rate, word will spread to the whole family, and I will be the big conversation piece during dinner. I think it's already too late, buddy. It's over. It's Jover. Even without this, everyone would be talking about me because of that 6-year gap. But now I've given them an even juicier topic. Yeah, they will most likely talk about this more because it's something to laugh about. Sure, like, oh wow, how big you've grown, but no, funny man cannot handle plane and boat. Damn it, why does the Ushiromiya head family have to live on this isolated island? In the meantime, the boat had finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we could get down. One by one, our parents came up from inside the boat. This guy really does come off with the servant vibes more so than the other lady does. I've already forgotten her name. Honestly, give me like 20 to 30 videos to really get to know everybody, because we have such a cast already. Actually, you know what? Look at this shit. So while I was like editing everything and I was like testing the voice volumes, look at this. We have come across so many freaking people, and it's only been like, what, 2 hours worth of recording? We have met so many people that I'm sure is going to be pretty significant. Obviously, there's a few people here that aren't, you know, probably around anymore, but the point stands is that we've met quite a few people already, and it's pretty crazy compared to Higurashi.
バトラ君はゴーダさんとは初対面じゃない？確か6年前はお勤めじゃなかったですよね。
はい。ですので、バトラ様とは初めてご挨拶させていただきます。はじめまして、バトラ様。
Sama.
ああ。俺もタッパには多少の自信があったんだが、でっけえ人だな。
He does have that bulking frame here.
紛れもなく初対面だぜ。こんな大男あったら絶対忘れないさ。どうも、はじめまして、バトラっす。
お待ち申し上げておりました。一昨年から後宮本家にお仕えさせていただいております。使用人のゴーダと申します。
Okay, so I heard the little chime, but just barely. So that tells me I gotta up the sound effects just a little bit more there. Or at least I'm pretty sure I heard the chime.
何かご用命がございましたらいつでもお申し付けください。
ゴーダさん、お久しぶりです。
ジョージ様、ご無沙汰をいたしております。お手をどうぞ。
あんた相変わらず大した接客のプロや。
No, he seems to be really good at the servitude sort of deal here.
もし職に困ったらいつでもわしに声をかけるんやで。
I think he's already got one.
いつでも雇ったろ。
I think he's already got a pretty good gig here.
これは身に余る光栄です。どうぞお手を、秀吉様。
Goda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. His speech and mannerisms had the refined polish of a professional. It was very graceful, in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. His large size made him seem a bit scary at first, but he was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on the island for 2 years, but he has doubtless worked at a similar job somewhere before. It's probably what landed him this gig. Hold on, before I forget, let's jump into the settings together, gang, which I think this is the first time I'm doing this mid-recording session. We'll up the sound effects just a little bit more there, just in case. I could be, you know, shooting myself in the foot here, but who knows. Did anything change? Like, did he pop up as a character here? Yes, he did. So this is Goda Toshiro, servant employed as a chef. Okay. While he hasn't served the family long, he has a polished talent for entertaining guests, cultivated through his previous jobs, and is highly regarded as a servant. Since he was hired by Kraus and his wife, he is more trusted than those servants who have served the family longer and who are thought of as Kinzo's spies. Oh, okay. Ooh, it's gonna get a little political here, isn't it? Oh, I can just smell it already. After everybody disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. Actually, let's see if anything is updated here in the tips. I don't think anything is different here. I don't even know if there would be like a way to actually see if anything was different here, but you know, if I miss anything, and you know what, I should have said this before, you guys are free to help me out in the comments. I am known to be pretty damn stupid, so if I miss anything, or if I stumble over something or get something wrong, feel free to let me know in the comments. Obviously, no spoilers, please, but I'm definitely welcome to all sorts of comments that help the journey be a lot more fun, because this isn't just me going along through Umineko. You guys are technically here for the ride as well. Or at least that's what I want to think. It was probably returning to its home port on Nijima, The captain waved his hand in farewell. Oh, we are here then. We are just here. There is no leaving unless there is, like, other boats. Maria conscientiously waved her hand back. I had a stroke while saying that.
なんだかさっきから違和感があると思ったら、あれだな。海猫の声を聞いてないぜ。
Aw, man.
海猫？
I am so used to hearing the cries of the Higurashi.
鳥のか？
And myself. If I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively nya-nya cries. Because of that, whenever I hear the cries of seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Ushiromiya head family live, Rokkenjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds, among anything else, but supposedly there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely. That's actually, that's kind of strange because in Higurashi, we obviously always heard Higurashi, like the characters always brought up the cries of the Higurashi or the cicadas or other bugs, but if we don't have cries of some birds here, then that is a pretty big contrast, and it really does beg the question of what does that mean, you know? Maybe it means nothing.
ああ、ローザおばさん。いや、別に。海猫の声が聞こえないんで、なんか寂しいなーって。
Without the seagulls, the name of this game means fucking nothing.
あら、そういえばそうね。いっつも賑やかなのに、今日はさっぱりいないわね。
Unless it's because of the coming typhoon.
どうして海猫いない？
海猫たちも今日はよそで集まりがあるからかな。
Is that how that works?
マリアも海猫見たかったの？
見たかった。
なんだってこうもまるっきりいねえんだ。ジェシカがみんな焼き鳥にして食っちまったんかな。
物騒なこと言うんじゃねえ。マリアが勘違いするだろ。
Well, maybe that's the goal here. A little bit of payback, you know.
ジェシカお姉ちゃんが焼き鳥にした。
してない。そんなの私がするわけねえだろ。
そうだ。ジェシカが焼き鳥にしたんだ。皮につくねにレバーにネギマン。
くつねりレバーにネギマン。
So is she happy about this, or is she sad? Because now they're just singing along. Whatever. I think it's better for her to be happier than to be sad. Excuse me, as I made fun of Jessica, Maria tagged along, looking like she was having fun. Oh, I never guessed she was such a good sport. Alrighty then, from today on, I'll make you my #1 follower. As I smiled at her, she beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection that we had made with each other.
違うよ、マリアちゃん。野鳥って天気や気圧の変化に敏感なんだそうだよ。
Called it.
今夜あたり天気が崩れそうだしね。末早めに引き上げてるのかもしれないね。
Okay, so eventually we'll hear some seagulls. So maybe the name is correct of this game, you know?
焼き鳥じゃない？ジェシカお姉ちゃんが焼き鳥にしたんじゃない？
違う。私はそんなことしないって。ほら、バトラも嘘だったって認めろよ。
バトラ君、マリアちゃんは素直な子だから、そういう冗談でも真に受けちゃうんだよ。冗談も少し選んだ方がいいよ。
Oh, come on. George Aniki gently scolded me. Even though I outstripped Aniki in height, Aniki was Aniki, of course. And there was no choice but to obediently apologize.
悪い。マリア、今のは冗談だ。海猫たちは今日は素でおとなしくしてるってさ。
Yeah, it does seem like she is very impressionable for her age.
バトラは嘘？
Like more than she probably should be, which is kind of weird. She's a strange child, and as somebody pointed in the comments of the previous episode, I think, she is a little scary.
ジョージお兄ちゃんは本当？
Had she actually been tricked, despite all that fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. I mean, it's so weird because, yeah, I mean, it was clearly a joke.
ジョージ兄貴が言ったのが本当だ。天気が悪いんで、今日は引き上げたんだろうよ。いなくなったわけじゃないんだぜ。ね、おばさん。
そうよ。明日以降、天気が良くなったら、きっと戻ってきて、ミャーミャーと声を聞かせてくれるわ。
They better.
天気良くなって戻ってくるの待つ。明日まで待つ。天気良くなるまで待つ。
Maria was in a lighter mood and she was looking forward to tomorrow. when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. It is an island after all. I mean, you need some sort of bird around. Still, George Aniki really was amazing at taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki, that's probably your gift.
ジョージ君は小さい子の面倒を見るのがうまいわね。
Yeah, apparently so.
保育士さんでさっきはほんの少しの間だけど、マリアとっても楽しそうだった。これからも今みたいに遊んであげてね。冗談は選んで。
Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. She's a real mother. I thought to myself, who's happy to see Maria having fun? Yeah, I don't think I don't think Battler did anything necessarily wrong. I think Rosa was right that, like, he's kind of, you know, good with her. It's just, yeah, she's very impressionable. From the shit that we saw on the boat, too. Like, she really just kind of sticks on to anything that, like, will stick. And it seems to be a little bit of everything. It's really hard to describe, isn't it? But yeah, compared to, I guess, a regular child, she definitely seems a bit odd.
それにガキどもも何やってんだ。行くぞ。
はいはい、今行きます。
The old bastard was waving for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after setting our luggage down in our rooms. Yeah, I mean, we're still not in a mansion yet.
お泊まりのゲストハウスの方へご案内させていただきます。
Wait, we're not going to the mansion? We're going to a guest house?
どうぞこちらへ。
What does this island have in store for us? Goda-san called to everyone and led the way. Kumasawa-san brought up the rear. Are we going to, like, be able to get a map of this place? I'd like to know where the hell we are in more detail. A serpentine, twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I'd guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep. All my dogs are just, like, not happy right now, by the way. I'm so sorry. But personally, I'd have been happier if they'd have the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they made the path twist on purpose, to put on airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. Ah, from here on, I do have some memories. Oh, I gotta go deal with my dogs, but yep, we're gonna go up these, and... there she is. At the top of the stone steps, we saw a beautiful guest house. Okay, I hunted down the source of the noise, so hopefully we're good for, I don't know, another 10, 20 minutes. I guess we'll see, but, whew, a little out of breath. Its facade was lovely, of course, but more important, oh, that's right, we're talking about a guest house here. We couldn't enter it, or we could not enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose garden spreading before it. Yeah, for a guest house, this is definitely something, isn't it?
今年も相変わらず大したもんや。目の保養とはこのことやで。
After climbing the stone steps, the people greeted by this rose garden gave voice to their impressions one by one.
今年は少し花に元気がないんじゃない？やっぱり夏があまり暑くなかったせいかしら。
I mean, I think the scenery looks just fine.
そのせいもあるかと思います。去年の先に比べると、今年は少々見劣るのが残念です。
Even so, it was a delightful rose garden. I remember that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rokkenjima. Even our parents, who came every year, could not help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed to have undergone a power-up from the garden in my memories of 6 years ago.
いつ見てもすごいわね。自宅にこれだけのバラ園があったら、さぞや素敵でしょうに。
Yeah, having this rose garden anywhere a little bit more personal would be great.
よせよ。バラは虫とか病気とか大変なんだぜ。
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that is fair. Hey, let's go for fake plants. I think those are easier to deal with.
どうかしら。ルドルフ兄さんは遺伝子的レベルで正しないですし。
大丈夫よ、ローザさん。あんまりおいたするバラなら、根元からちょんって切っちゃうから。
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
物騒なお話ですね。
I completely agree, Kumasawa.
モテる男は いつもリスクと隣り合わせなんや。
They are?
わしも来世じゃもうちょい美形に生まれたいもんやで。
Oh, come on, Hideyoshi. I think you're a good-looking guy.
だから秀吉兄さん、モテてなんかないって。キリエも物騒な話なんかやめろい。
Yeah, she's saying some crazy shit all of a
俺のバラ
sudden.
がしおれちまったじゃねえか。
Come
ほ
on.
ら、マリアちゃん、来てごらん。こっちのバラは特に立派だよ。
バラが立派。
かぐわしい匂いだぜ。
Yeah, careful where you keep your nose.
俺のエレガントさにぴったりだな。
おいよせよ。マリアが真似してトゲで怪我するだろ。
Damn, we can't do shit, can we? She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around, I saw Maria imitating my every gesture and George Aniki smiling broadly at us. God damn. Yeah, again, she is so damn impressionable. It's crazy.
ほら、マリアちゃん、気をつけて。バラのトゲは痛いよ。
Now she'll learn the hard way.
ほう、少女お兄ちゃん、このバラだけ変。
What is it?
変？どうしたんだよ。
Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all these magnificent roses, one single rose was just starting to wilt. There wasn't any particular reason. Some roses flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it. But Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. It must have made her feel lonely.
このバラだけ元気がなくて。
Is it odd for
か
like
わいそう？
a flower that is in a group of other flowers to not receive the same nutrients and whatever else it needs to stay alive?
ほう、他はみんな元気なのに、これだけかわいそう。
See, I don't know shit about flowers or plants or anything, guys. Sorry.
まあ、
It seemed that Maria's pure, sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her.
じゃあマリアちゃん、帰るまでの間、このバラをお世話してあげるといいよ。
ほう、
George Aniki straightened up and felt around in his pocket. He then took out the wrapper from the candy that he had been sucking on the plane. He twisted it into a thin string and then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of marker.
へえ、なんだか可愛くなったね。
Okay, no, that's good. I think that'll give her something to do while she's here as well. Keep an eye on the rose.
これがこのバラの目印だよ。後でお水とかをあげに来てごらん。バラさんもきっと喜ぶと思うよ。
Yeah, she better keep up on it too.
お水とかをあげに来る。
せっかくだからこのバラさんに何か名前をつけてあげるといいよ。そうするとバラさんも喜ぶと思うし、マリアちゃんと心もきっと通い合うと思うよ。
As long as I don't have to shoulder the responsibility of doing so, because I had to do that shit back in Amore.
名前、
Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Aniki.
ジョージ兄さんって昔っから包容力があるよな。尊敬するぜ。
だな。
No, it definitely kept her from a bad mood for sure.
人徳ってやつだろ。後で爪の赤をもらってきてやるから、一緒に飲もうぜ。
Tips.
それでは皆様、よろしいでしょうか。
Are we finally going in?
そろそろお部屋の方にご案内いたします。
Nice, here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. Goda-san called to everyone to ask if we were ready. But our hearts had been completely stolen away by the rose garden that none of us had seen for a year, so we didn't pay much attention to him. Since we weren't a travel group, it wasn't like we had a strict schedule to follow. Besides, since our parents were visiting their old home full of nostalgia, it wasn't like they had to let themselves be urged on by anyone or anything. Understanding the situation, Goda-san continued to wait, smiling widely, until our parents got tired of the roses and told him to guide us to our rooms. I mean, I'm more excited to actually visit the big boy mansion, but no, this is good too.
おーい、カノン君やないか。
Who?
久しぶりやな。元気か？
Uncle Hideyoshi suddenly shouted, "Who the hell?" And the direction he was waving was a slender boy. Meeting him right after a huge man like Goda probably emphasized his small stature. Yeah, I don't know what to immediately think here. It's very off-putting. I think that's all I can say. The boy was in the middle of transporting piled up gardening tools and the like in a wheelbarrow. When he realized he was being called to stop, he set down the wheelbarrow, took his hat off, and bowed his head.
Konnichiwa.
I figured he was probably younger than me, and I realized by the general atmosphere surrounding him that he was another servant. He greeted us in response to Uncle Hideyoshi's call, but he seemed like he might be pretty unsociable most of the time, Words, am I right? It was a greeting that lacked feeling. When Goda-san noticed that our interest had shifted towards him, he went to the boy's side and introduced him to us.
バトラ様、ご紹介いたします。後宮本家にお仕えしております使用人の一人です。カノンさん、お客様にご挨拶を。
はじめまして。使用人のカノンです。
Yeah, that's the only name we're getting out of him, isn't it? I was gonna like look at the little name tag and see what his full name was, but no, it's only Kanon. Yep, my first impression wasn't wrong. He seemed to be unsociable, or at least not so good at talking. So I did hear the little chime there, just fucking barely, so I gotta keep my ears peeled there, but yep. Seems like this bottom line here is gonna be all the servants, or at least that's what it appears to be. So Kanon is a young servant, performs his duties silently and diligently, but due to his unsociable nature, he is not so highly regarded as a servant. There are several other servants with the On character in their pseudonyms. He and Shonon just happened to be the ones on duty that day. Okay, interesting. Yep, we're yet to meet all of them, it seems. Compared to Goda-san, who was extraordinarily polished as a servant, you couldn't help but feel an inexperience typical of his age. When Goda-san urged him in a whisper to give a bit more of an introduction, the boy named Kanon only cast his eyes downwards.
Kanon-san, もう少し何か挨拶することはできませんか?
いえ、僕たちは家具ですから。
Wow. Whoa, okay. He did not seem to be refusing to greet us out of spite. Rather, he seemed to have fallen silent because he didn't know what else to say to us in greeting.
カノン君は寡黙でさ、余計なおしゃべりはしない性分なんだよ。
That was so unexpected. That is really unexpected. I gotta wonder about this guy. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from, kind of. I mean, yeah, they're all servants, and that's all they do, is they just, you know, keep the property looking good, help everybody out, and that's it. But to say furniture, god damn.
愛想は少し悪いけど、根はいい人なんだぜ。誤解しないで。ここに勤めて3年になるんだっけ。確かゴーダさんより1年長いんだよな、カノン。
Even though he wasn't exactly giving a terrible first impression, Jessica hurriedly backed him up. Honestly, my impression of him is like really twisted. I really don't know what to think of him. I see. Apparently his unsociable nature causes him a lot of trouble.
そっか。よろしくな。俺はバトラ。18だけど、君はいくつだい?
Well, that was a good conversation. He fell silent as though wondering whether or not it was a question he would have to answer. But here again, Jessica plowed ahead.
確か私たちの2つ下だから16だったよな。
Ah, he's just going through a phase.
はい。そうです。
It looked like he would have preferred not to tell us his age if given the choice. That was probably because he thought that we would look down on him for it. I remember that when I was around his age, I hated being asked how old I was by adults. I see. 16, huh? That's gotta be a delicate time. Which means I probably asked something I shouldn't have.
近いとして嬉しいぜ。気さくにバトラって呼んでくれよな。俺も君のことはカノンって呼ぶぜ。
ありがとうございます。お気持ちだけで結構です。バトラ様。
Yeah, he's not gonna do it. He knows his place. I'm sure he's been trained to a very specific degree growing up, especially, you know, being taught from a young age, you know, basically his role here. I don't know. Honestly, my opinions on servants, maids, this and that are very, it's I don't really have much of an opinion, honestly. I don't really know what to think. I mean, I've really only seen them in fiction, so it's really hard to formulate one. Jessica looked panicky for some reason. She seemed to think my impression of Kanon was getting worse because of his refusal. Well, as a girl, Jessica probably couldn't understand the fretful male heart at this age. As his elder, even by just 2 years, I took it upon myself to be understanding of that. No, that's understandable for sure.
もう少し愛想欲はできませんか。笑顔も使用人の義務ですよ。
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing a smiling Kanon here.
申し訳ありません。努力します。
ゴーダさん、カノン君もいろいろ頑張ってるんですよ。
It looked like he was often warned about being unsociable, and apparently he hadn't improved one bit. Goda-san kept his business smile, but let a small sigh of resignation escape.
それではまだ仕事がありますので、失礼します。
I guess to him it's just, you know, focus on the work. It looked like Kanon himself was uncomfortable with remaining silent here any longer. After another perfunctory bow, he turned around and started pushing the wheelbarrow again. And just then the wheelbarrow suddenly wobbled and fell, scattering the load. I guess the wheelbarrow's single wheel got caught on a pebble and lost its balance.
何をしてるんですか。早く片付けて。
Goda-san urged him to hurry in a quiet voice, as though hinting that it was shameful for a servant to appear clumsy in front of his guests. And that's actually what really sucks, is because, yeah, as we all know, gamers, shit sucks, and shit happens, and therefore shit sucks. But, yeah, I mean, you can't control everything. Obviously, you can try, but, yeah, I mean, you don't have everything in your control, which is really unfortunate, and when you're trying to look as professional and perfect as possible, yeah, things are definitely going to fall. Kanon-kun wordlessly reloaded the wheelbarrow with the fallen objects, as if to say that he understood quite well without being told. That's probably going to make him feel worse, honestly. He seemed to be fine with the light-looking gardening tools, shovels and such, but he looked like he was having trouble getting his arms around and lifting up some sacks of fertilizer.
大丈夫かよ。そそっかしいな。ほら。
お嬢様、お召し物が汚れます。ここはお任せください。
With a smooth motion, Goda-san took the shovel that Jessica had picked up. Behind him, Kanon-kun was having trouble with the sacks of fertilizer. Honestly, like, yeah, these are kind people that we're meeting here. You know, us youngsters are very kind and we want to help the servants out, but it's probably going to also look disrespectful not only to the servants, but probably to the rest of the family. And guess who gets punished? The servants. So it's a very delicate situation.
お召し物が汚れる？
安心しろよ。俺が着てるのはそんなお上品なものじゃねえぜ。それによ。俺はレストランで落ちたフォークをウェイトレスに拾わせるってやつが大嫌いなんだ。
And then we have Battler, who had a completely different coming up in his childhood. I lifted up the other bags that had fallen. Of course, they weren't light, but for me it was a piece of cake. Kanon-kun looked at me surprised. It was the face of someone who never would have expected to receive help from a guest.
バトラ様、結構です。僕が全てやりますので。
気にすんな。こう見えても鍛え方が違うぜ。
Since Kanon-kun looked like he hadn't yet gone through his growth spurt, he was stuck with a sort of weak body. This kind of weight might have been too much for him.
結構重いね。
Oh, come on, George.
カノン君が苦労するのも無理はないよ。カノン君、気にしないで。
これぞ、俺の見せ場さ。これで、さっきの船の分はチャラだよな。
この程度のことじゃ、さっきの大騒ぎが帳消しになるもんかよ。
Yeah, nobody is letting that go, unfortunately. As much as we would like that to be let go, it's not being let go.
カノン君にも後で教えてやるよ。バトだったら面白いんだぜ。
Damn, we are not even safe from the fucking servants being told.
落ちる。
As they did this, I piled all the stuff back into the wheelbarrow.
お見苦しいところをお見せして申し訳ございませんでした。
You are good, brother.
さあさあもう結構ですよ。
We all have our
言っ
moments.
てください。
Letting the guests, who were supposed to feel welcome, see such a disgraceful thing must have been hideously embarrassing for a servant. Pressed by Goda to hurry up and go, Konon-kun left. And he's gonna apologize on his behalf,
ゴーダさんもいじ
right?
めすぎよ。意地悪言わないで、あなたも手伝えばよかったんじゃない？
これは至りませんで、誠に申し訳ございませんでした。
Without even a twitch in his smile, Goda-san apologized elegantly. For being a bully or for that sight.
は行さんあるんやで。ただ若いんかの。いろいろもったいないわ。
気難しい年頃さ。そっとしといてやれよ。使用人は寡黙なくらいがちょうどいいさ。な、熊沢さん。
ルドルフ様は手厳しゅうございますこと。
Yeah, Kumasawa is most definitely not that.
私ほど使用人で寡黙な者はおりませんとも。
Everyone smiled wryly at that obvious lie. Even she herself did not believe that, not in her wildest dreams. So she must have said it to lighten the mood. Yeah, that's the kind of character Kumasawa Bachan used to be. The one stiff atmosphere had cleared up at once thanks to her cheerful smile.
そろそろ荷物を置きたいわね。
Yeah, we've been out here for a ridiculously long time.
ゴダさん、部屋割りはどうなってるのかしら。
昨年と同じになっております。さあ、ご案内いたします。どうぞこちらへ。
I mean, again, from the outside, it's a good-looking guest house. We headed towards a trim, elegantly simple guest house. This was gonna be our temporary quarters for the night. For the night, you say? Only the night? Oh, hey, what's going on? Konon watched over a hedge as the guests all entered the guest house. Then he let his eyes fall on those heavy sacks of fertilizer piled up in the wheelbarrow, In his mind, he kept going over his previous mistake. Yeah, that's gonna eat at him for sure. Battler, big and strong, had picked up the sacks in front of him. The sacks Konon couldn't lift himself as if they were feathers. It would be extremely difficult for an outside observer to guess what emotions that favor had stirred up in Konon. But as far as you could tell by watching him hang his head, there was something that he just couldn't let go of. Muttered words escaped his lips. But those words he murmured were so soft that they didn't even reach his own ears. Even I what? Konon hung his head, slightly biting his lower lip. Oh, I wonder what was going through his head there, you know? What emotions were stirred up in there?
バラの庭園は記憶にあったんだけどよ。このゲストハウスっつうのは記憶にねえな。
Yeah, it actually looks smaller on the inside.
これ、建てたのは最近か?
I guess it really is just, you know, house people. Like, just keep it, like, all temporary, you know? Not for long staying. So, whatever that means. Torian? Let's go with that one. Visitor's Retreat was written on a gatepost-like thing, but since everyone called it the guest house, I followed their lead. The brand new Western-style guest house, which stood overlooking the roses, had a magnificent design carefully done with harmony with the garden, excuse me.
正解だよ。建ったのはつい一昨年さ。それ以降は僕たちはこっちに泊めさせてもらってるんだよ。
年季の入ったボロ屋敷よりこっちの方が好評みてえだしな。
I still really want to see that mansion.
私も自分の部屋をこっちに持ちたいぜ。はい、マリアも持ちたい。
I guess you could say my own house was upper class, but to me it felt completely ordinary compared to the head family. The display of wealth was shocking, as was the fact that they'd built this kind of awesome guest house for guests who had came over only a few times a year, excuse me.
エヴァ様、
Losing my ability to speak over here.
こちらのお部屋をお使いくださいませ。ルドルフ様、キリエ様はこちらのお部屋をお使いくださいませ。
やっぱりここは綺麗で上品でいいわね。洋風って本当に素敵だわ。
I agree.
ほんの2、3日なら洋風もええやろが、ずっといて落ち着くのは断固和風やで。日本人は畳の上が一番くつろげるんや。
新しい家を和風にするか洋風にするかで喧嘩してね。
Oh, what a tough situation and decision to, have to deal with,
お父さんが和風で着工させ
Could
たの
not
を
be me.
母さんまだ根に持ってよく言い合いをするんだよ。
ジョージ兄さんのところは両親仲が良くて羨ましいぜ。うちなんか冷め切ったもんさ。そのくせ私の成績の話だけは連帯しやがる。
All the rooms seemed to be for 2 people. I was grateful since I wasn't going to be forced to share the same room with the old bastard, under the pretext that we were family. And anyway, I figured those 2 wouldn't be able to enjoy themselves with someone like me around.
何気持ち悪い顔で笑ってんのよ。
Oh, just some inner thoughts.
どうせ下世話なこと考えてるんでしょ。
No, not this time.
下世話なんてとんでもない。どうぞごゆっくりお過ごしくださいませ。あ、はい、出た。
Oh no, the ears again?
言えたよ、クソ親父。
Once again, Dad pulled my ears from behind.
バカなこと言ってんじゃねえ。俺は胃がキリキリ痛み始めてて、とてもそんな元気は湧かねえぜ。
Oh, somebody didn't like that boat ride.
去年から相変わらずかな。余命3ヶ月、余命3ヶ月って
Oh, so he is
割には
alive.
相変わらずピンピン、カリカリ、イライラしてるって話です。
Okay. I was like a little confused there for a moment,
今年
actually.
も相変わらず不機嫌ってわけね。
I was thinking that he was dead for a little bit, but no, I guess he's still kicking.
お守りができるのはやっぱり源氏さんだけなの？
親方様も源氏さんにだけは心を許しておいでのようです。私たち下々では近頃はお目通りすらなかなか叶わず。
また書斎に閉じこもって怪しげな黒魔術三昧じゃねえのかな。
Black magic?
何をやろうとてめえの趣味だから構わねえけど、匂いが立ち込める系は勘弁してほしいもんだぜ。
What the fuck is he up to?
ついでにそのまま書斎から永久に出てくんなってんだ。
年長の人にそんな言い方をするもんじゃないよ。
No, it's funny here.
後宮家を復興させてくれた大恩人なんだから、もっと感謝しないと。
まあ、ごめん。
After being rebuked by George Aniki, Jessica had no choice but to take back her thoughtless remark. I mean, she's young, she lives here, she has to deal with it, and I think it's okay. The Ushiromiya family was wealthy beyond belief, but of course, that meant all its members were a bit strange. Yeah, I'm seeing that. And completely out of touch with the world at large. And at the top of the chain, the family head, our grandfather, seemed especially strange and terrifying, even for our family. Dad said that he was getting a stomachache earlier, and I imagine that reflected the honest feelings of all the adults here today. Yeah, I mean, the closer we got here, the closer we got to this old man. And who knows what the fuck he's gonna come out and say. No doubt they were jealous of us grandchildren, who could just play around and laugh without a care. From the stories Dad told me, the family head was a violent man who ruled with his fists, beating his children, even his daughters, mercilessly with a wooden sword? What the fuck? Alright, cool, I think. If he was so strict and uptight about that, why couldn't he have been a little more conservative with his kids' names? Because of that, even us grandkids have had to suffer. And it's probably due to all of his black magic, huh? Let's just blame that. Anyway, I can't say I have any trouble believing those terrifying stories about him. I don't remember meeting him very often, but I think I recall him looking extremely grumpy all the time, always making people cower with that sharp gaze of his. I remember that the room's atmosphere got so tense whenever he was around, you couldn't even breathe. What my dad said about me being the guest of honor now carries a little more oomph for me. I wouldn't call it oomph.
6年前は俺も小学生だったが、さすがに今は高校生だ。
I'd say that we're probably more fucked than ever.
失礼のある態度なんか取ったら大変なことになるかもしれねえな。怖い怖い。
Yeah, as the seemingly main character here, I guess we should put on a really good impression.
確かにこわもてだけど、そんなに硬くなるほど怖い人じゃないよ。決して理不尽なことは言ってないもん。
Hey, I doubt it.
口下手なだけで、ちゃんと筋は通す人だよ。
Hey, I doubt it.
ジョージ兄さんは昔から成績優秀で一族の鏡じゃねえかよ。私たちとじゃじい様の待遇が全然違うぜ。私なんか木刀で引っ叩かれたことあるしよ。
Yeah, because you're here. You get to suffer. Actually, I'm kind of curious. how does her schoolwork, work out here? She seems to live here, right? She lives here with because her family is like, I guess, the first of the old granddad here. So she lives here. How is she doing her schooling? I'm assuming it's all like at home, and I don't know, just 1980s. This is in the 1980s, right? Hold on. 1980s? Where's the date? Yep, 1986. 1980s is definitely way before good old Zoom University, which I got to attend a little bit of. So, very curious as to how homeschooling worked back then. I'm assuming it's as basic and very easy to abuse as it sounds, but I could be wrong.
尻だぜ尻。
Oh, well, yeah.
それも乙女の生尻をよ。
But of course.
ジェシカちゃんは本家の跡取り娘だもん。おじい様も特に目をかけてくれてるんだよ。その厳しさは期待の気持ちの裏返しだと思わなくちゃ。
冗談じゃねえぜ。
Yeah, that's what we're calling it.
その跡取りってやつはジョージ兄さんに譲るよ。私が担ぐにはちょいとしんどいぜ。
I think I already said it before, but Jessica's the girl heir to the head family. We're only cousins in branch families, so she probably feels a totally different sort of pressure than we do.
ジェシカお姉ちゃんが重い？マリアが持ったら軽くなる？
うん？サンキューな。大丈夫。マリアちゃんには押し付けねえよ。
Yeah, that would just be cruel.
この十字架は私が墓まで背負ってくよ。安心しなって。
She was grateful for Maria's innocent concern, but Jessica's face still seemed to contain some of the uneasiness that she felt towards the future. Maybe we were in the same boat. Any high schooler with exams approaching would have trouble hiding their anxiety for the future.
マリアいらっしゃい。お母さんとマリアはこの部屋よ。
バトラ君は僕と一緒にこっちの部屋だってさ。
Aw, man, I knew we were gonna fucking bunk together. There's not enough room. I mean, I guess we get multiple beds in the same room, but like, we don't have enough rooms for this? Really? I would have thought, but no, this is fucking spacious. This is bigger than any hotel room I've been in.
なになに？こりゃ驚いた。親たちの部屋より広めじゃないのよ。
どうせいとこ同士で集まるだろうと思ってよ。大きめの部屋にするように言っておいたんだ。
おお、マリアもこっちがいい。ママと一緒よりこっちがいい。
Ouch. But she can come and visit.
そうか。マリアもこっちがいいか。よし。ここは俺とジョージ兄貴の部屋だが、特別に出入りを許可してやろう。お母さんには内緒だぞ。
内緒。
Yeah, get her all excited. Aunt Rosa was right behind us, but Maria still answered, striking the air with her fists clenched tight. After setting down their luggage in their rooms, our parents had gathered again in the corridor.
おいガキども、お前らはどうする？ここでいとこ同士おしゃべりでもしてるか？
I don't know, probably. It seemed that they were heading to the mansion to announce their arrival. Normally, they would make us follow them and greet everyone together. But if that had been the case, Dad would have just told us to come, and that would be the end of it. He's saying that it's okay if we don't come, so what'll we do?
どうせもうすぐお昼や。子供はそこでくつろいでたらええ。
Honestly, I'd be down to go. I think that's the more appropriate and polite thing to do.
それに表で遊べるのは下手をすると今のうちだけかもしれんしの。
マリアも行く。
マリアはここでお留守番してなさい。いたずらをしないで、おとなしく待ってるのよ。
Since Maria was being told to house sit here, we certainly couldn't leave her on her own. George Aniki noticed this immediately and gave a clear reply for all of us cousins.
じゃあ、僕たちはお言葉に甘えて留守番してようか。
Alright, works for me, I guess.
1年ぶりに積もる話もあるしね。
That is true, actually. Yeah, we could really unwind and, strengthen some bonds.
それがいいわ。バトラ君なんか6年分積もってるんだしね。
へいへい。お子ちゃまな俺はおとなしくお留守番してるぜ。
熊沢さん、私もこっちに残るからよ。あとは大人に任せて若者は退散してるぜ。
それがおよろしいでしょ。
That goddamn laugh. Again, Kumasawa's gonna fucking, woo me over.
奥様にはそのようにお伝えいたします。
それでは皆様、お屋敷の方へご案内させていただきます。
Damn it. Honestly, I just really wanted to see the goddamn mansion, but the time will come. The time will come. We will see it. We will be in there. For who knows how long. Probably a huge duration of this entire story, but like, the time will come, and we will be there.
どうぞこちらへ。
他の子はともかく、ジョージは成人してるんだから連れて行った方がいいんじゃない？
そんなんでジョージだけ仲間外れはかわいそうやで。いとこ同士の交流も大事や。ほな、行ってくるで。
The adults left one after the other. They left in the same formation as our trip from the harbor, with Goda-san leading and Kumasawa-san taking up the rear. As we gathered in the room assigned to us cousins, George Aniki asked us to excuse him for a second. He rushed over to Kumasawa-san, who was following behind the disappearing adults, and seemed to ask her something. He soon finished his business and came back.
どうしたんだよ、兄貴。
ああ、なんでもないよ。
That didn't look like nothing.
ちょっと聞きたいことがあっただけさ。
Yeah, tell us already. Come on, dude. Don't leave us in fucking suspense.
ジョージ兄さんが私に聞かなくて熊沢さんには聞くことってなあ、全然見当がつかねえぜ。
いや、誤解だよ。
Yeah, I don't know what she's alluding to be honest.
ジェシカちゃんが何を誤解してるのか知らないけど。
Yeah, I have no idea what the misunderstanding is either. Aniki was getting pretty tongue-tied. It was almost as though he felt guilty about something, and Jessica knew exactly what he was worried about. At any rate, it's no fun if Jessica gets to know about it and not me.
なあ、マリア。俺たちだけのけ者なんてねえよな。何の話か聞きてえよな。
バトラとマリアも聞きたい。バトラとマリアも聞きたい。
He is really good at egging her on. Oh, don't do that. Come on, dude. Come on. I fooled around while going while oohing together with Maria.
いや、だから大したことじゃ。
さつけ！兄貴にしちゃ嘘が下手だぜ。拍手しやがれ。
Yeah, what's the big problem here?
マリア、お前は右脇をくすぐれ。俺は左脇だ。
マリアは右脇で、バトラは左脇だ。
ちょっと、二人ともやめて。
Oh, it is so over, George. You have no idea. Maria and I played around chasing George Aniki as he tried to escape, rolling on the bed. I realize high schoolers aren't supposed to bounce around like kittens, but I still miss this kind of fun. Yeah, I mean, when you're with friends or family, or I guess close friends and family, then it's like, yeah, you know, just unwind, you know? We're still young. A warm, cozy kind of fun.
ジョージ兄さんが熊沢さんに聞いたのはね。
Yeah, just spit it out already.
まあ、ほら、あれだぜ。兄さんも本家は1年ぶりだからよ。その間に辞めた使用人とか入った使用人とか、そういうのがいたら挨拶したいって、そういうことらしいぜ。
Oh, he wants to say hi to all the servants.
挨拶する。マリアも挨拶する。
なんだよそれ。全然やましくねえじゃねえかよ、兄貴。違うな。マリア、騙されるな。兄貴は何か隠してるぞ。
Yeah, I want to hear it from his own mouth, honestly.
尋問再開だ。おりゃ。
やめてよ本当に。
This is the Higurashi goofiness that I've missed.
マリアちゃんももうやめて。
It's just not over the top and wacky.
多分掃除とか昼飯の準備とかで忙しいんだよ。大丈夫。後でちゃんと挨拶に来るぜ。
Okay, no, I'm fully following now.
ゴーダの出しゃばりの出迎えよりシャノンの出迎えの方が良かったってんだろ。
Okay.
シャノン？
Okay, I see now. See, George is what we call a gamer.
シャノン。思い出したぜ。そんな子もいたな。今も使用人やってんのか？元気かよ。
Okay, no, I get it now. 100%. I'm following along. Yeah, I've seen this before. Is this the mansion? This is the mansion, isn't it? It is. All right. We're finally seeing a little bit of this mansion. All right. But we'll have to hold off for the next episode. We are out of time here. But okay, all right. Still says 10:30 in the morning, which I kind of doubt, but it gives us like a sense of time. I do like that it does that. I really do wish more visual novels kind of like took up the opportunity to tell me like what fucking time it is, but whatever. Alrighty. No, this was a good one. Again, nothing is really happening, but I'm having a lot of fun. I can't lie. This has been good fun so far. I do hope that eventually they pick it up and something really does get going, but now that I think about it, people did tell me that it's a bit of a slow burn at the start, but once it picks up, we will be throwing it into R for race rather than R for reverse. So that'll be a good time. But no, this was good. I do like learning about all these characters. I think there's a whole bunch more to learn about, especially the servants. And I think we got, the topmost family branch that we have to finish, fully getting to know. So we're not done with characters quite yet. And who knows, there might be even more characters that get introduced in later episodes as well. So we're in it to win it, guys. I truly believe. So I guess it just kind of depends if I stick with this or not. I don't know. Those like 5 years in the future will definitely know the answer whenever they come back and watch this. But thank you all for watching this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. And I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.